Hashtag I'm from Denver, and I'm producer Wiggins. With me is Mr. Black. We got those DraftKings picks for you, but before we get into that, we have some tickets for you to win, and they're courtesy of Mr. Black and DraftKings. You're going to actually go to the Colorado versus Arizona game, the Avs versus Coyotes, and we got those tickets for you. All you have to do is comment with Colorado in the comment section. We'll send you the link where you can sign up for those, but Mr. Black always got the hookup for you, so thank you for that, sir. Let's jump into it. What do you got for everyone? I know the NFL games are coming up. What do you want to hit first? You want to hit the basketball system? Because I want to know a little bit about that.
Yeah, we'll actually, recap on last night, another brutal night for us. But for NHL, still 20-16 on the year, 56% still. And, weather in the storm. And I do want to touch base the handicapping. There's a lot of people out there, and a lot of reason why I do this is the educational part we discussed before. There's gonna be a lot of people out there that are trying to sell you something. I do this for free. I've done it a long time, trying to give people education and advice. If anyone's trying to sell you something, they're selling you the fact that they're going to win 100% of the time. Run as fast as you can. I've been through and paid for a lot of these services, and I'm telling you right now, every single one of them has not worked out. There's a lot of valuable resources out there for you. I'm not the only one that does it. There's some that do it at a high level. Most of them are doing it for free, and those are the ones that you want to pay attention to.
You're not just doing it for free. You're giving them tickets to games.
Absolutely, yeah. We're doing it for free, and we're giving stuff out.
So what is it? Is this the handicap part of it for the basketball system? Because I know you said the basketball system. Is that go hand in hand with the handicap, or are these like different worlds?
Yeah, so no, basically handicapping is just somebody that does the research knowledge, gives out picks, and does it at a high level. But for the basketball system, tonight we have Houston and Portland. It fits a system that is 20-14 on the year, and we lost 2 the other night, but it opened at 232.5. The line is moved now up to 234.5. For the total, and so you're going to want to take the overs tonight in the Houston-Portland basketball game. We'll get back on
overs, meaning it's going to go over the 234, right?
That's right. Houston and Portland combined, what their scores combined tonight will go over. And keep in mind, the information that we have is based on, their combined average. They're around 220, 221, and Vegas is opening it way high at 234.5. So it's telling us it's going to go over tonight.
And if you haven't signed up for DraftKings yet, now is the time to do it. Go to imfromdenver.com. You'll see the link right there for DraftKings. You can get up to $1,000 deposit bonus in your account. The link is right there at imfromdenver.com. And we partnered with them and Mr. Black just so that we can make sure that you guys are taken care of, because I myself am not in this world. I'm getting more and more well-versed in it as we've done this live stream. But you guys should not be intimidated by it, because that's what we're here to give you those facts and answer those questions that you might have, because it can be a little intimidating. I mean, maybe you felt comfortable right when you started, but I feel a little intimidation by joining one of these things like DraftKings.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot going on. But at the end of the day, really with anything, if you put a lot of research in it and you really want to pay attention, you can also do it for fun. And obviously go find the advice. There's a lot of information out there. And we'll get further into education as things go on, as it relates to what things mean and how to bet for those that really aren't in tune with it.
And so is it easy once you get into that app? Like you said, this point spread, what did you say? The line shifted to 234. Is that easy to navigate once you're in this app and actually understand, okay, this is what Mr. Black said. This is how I can place that bet. It's not too complicated, right?
Yeah, super easy. So what's posted is you just literally click on the NBA, and then you'll see all the games that are listed for today. You'll see 3 options at the beginning. So you'll see Houston, Portland. You'll see the spread, which is basically the favorite and the underdog and what the point is. You'll have the total there, and then you'll have a money line bet. Now, once you click on the game, there's like 100 different options. You can get player props, game props, all kinds of different things that you can bet on, and then you have live betting too. But for the very beginning, just to keep it easy, we'll focus on the spread, the total, and money line, and we'll give out some player props, game props as we go on, and give education as it relates to what all that means. And parlays and some of these terms that we're using that may be foreign to you. Like you said, Wiggins, you don't know much about it, but we'll get into all that at some point on one of the shows.
Yeah, I'll make the bets with you guys. Don't forget, comment with the word Colorado, Mr. Black and DraftKings. We got tickets for you to go see Avs versus Arizona on February 1st, and that parking pass. That's the best part, I think, about that. So comment with Colorado, and we'll make sure that we send you the link so you can sign up for your chance to get those tickets. Last week for NFL was crazy. I asked you yesterday, Mr. Black, what is your pick for today? I don't know if you want to give that pick right now, but I want to ask you first, how chaotic was last week for you as a better a sports wagerer, if that's the right term? How was last week for you? Was it chaotic? Were you able to understand? The games were just nuts.
Oh, the whole playoffs have been nuts. Wild card weekend was very difficult and challenging prior to going in. I thought that was the case, at least from what my eyes saw. And then going to the divisional round last week, I mean, are you kidding me? What two of the best games I've probably ever seen? Now, when your money's on the line, it's obviously a little bit different. But, the first game, the Bucks, the Rams, that game was nuts. The Rams pulled it out. I happened to be on that side, so that was exciting. And then I was actually on the Bills, and that was as painful as it could be. 13 seconds. You never thought they could have done what they did. And so being on the losing side of something like that hurts a little bit. But, the games, a lot of scoring in the first and second game. I believe both went over the total. But this conference champion weekend is very interesting. And so last night, Kansas City was a 7-point favorite, or yesterday they're on the move. It's now they're 7.5, and that's a very important number. And so Cincinnati's a 7.5-point underdog. The Chiefs are a 7.5-point favorite. And so we call it the hook. The half point's the hook. And in the NFL, a lot of times the games will land on 3, 7, and multiples of that. And so when you get a 7.5, there's a lot of interesting moves on it. And so, Cincinnati, KC, I'm going to give you my plays for it. I actually like the under. Last week, KC and Buffalo scored a ton of points. They had 25 points in like the last 2 minutes, which was unheard of. That game was trending under. What I would recommend is wait until Sunday. The public tends to go put their money on the over. And so that number is going to continue to drive up. And I think you can get a little bit higher. Right now it's at 54.5. I think you can get up in the 55 or higher. And I'm actually saying it's going to go under. I like the Bengals to cover in that game. They've covered 6 in a row. They beat the Chiefs earlier in the season, 34-31, I believe the score was. And so I actually like the underdog to cover the 7.5-point spread. I like KC to win the game outright.
Explain this to me. So are you, when I'm going into DraftKings, I'm making this wager with a $1,000 deposit on I'mFromDenver.com. When I make this wager in here, and I'm actually betting on Cincinnati to win, or am I betting on what am I betting on? The fact that they're going to have under that, what that line score is?
Yeah, so when you're betting on them, you're going to take plus 7.5. So what you're basically saying is the Bengals are going to lose by less than 7.5 points. Now, if you want to make a money line bet, it would be plus. Actually, I have it right here. I think it's plus 260 if you wanted to win outright with no points. I don't recommend that, but it's something that you can sprinkle. We call it sprinkle a little bit on the money line. So if you take the Bengals plus 7.5, might as well sprinkle a little money line. You bet $100, you win 260. That's big odds in your favor. It's just not likely to happen, which is why they're giving you that benefit.
Okay, and I mean it's a rookie question. It's obviously how gambling works, but or sports betting, I should say. If I'm actually betting on the underdog, the payout is bigger because it's not probability of that happening is not as great. So that means that payout is increased. Is that right?
You're absolutely correct. And if you went on Kansas City, as an outright, you would need to bet $335 to win 100. So it's vice versa. Whereas the Bengals, if it outright, $100 to win 260. But before we get going here, I want to make sure we get on the Rams. So the line's still plus 3.5, which 3 in the hook. As the 49ers being an underdog, that line hasn't moved. The total's at 45.5. And so there's a lot of interesting stats here, and I've written it down. I couldn't memorize it all, but I want to go through a few of these things. And so the 49ers have had the Rams numbers. And like I said the other day, they've won 7 in a row. They've won the last 2 meetings this season. They actually beat them in week 10, 31-10. The 49ers beat the Rams. Sean McVay is 3-7 against Kyle Shanahan. That's the coaches of both teams. Not only straight up, but against the spread. He's 3-7 against Shanahan. And so very, very interesting stuff here. And then Jimmy G, everybody wants to talk about Jimmy G and how awful he is. He's 15-4 in his career against the spread as an underdog. Think about that for a second. And then this season alone, he's 4-1 against the spread as an underdog. So a lot of people saying back Jimmy G. My pick is take the 49ers plus 3.5. And then ultimately the last thing I'm going to say is, and I don't want to get too in the weeds, there's a thing called a teaser where you can take 2 teams, you get 6 points each. So even though I'm on the Bengals plus 7.5 and I'm on the 49ers plus 3.5, I'm actually going to tease the Chiefs at 6 points, take them from 7.5 down to 1.5, which is essentially winning the game. Not many games are won by 1 point or 2 points. And I'm going to pair that with the 49ers and get them up to 9.5. Both of those have to happen in order to win that bet. And when you're teasing something, make sure you do not pay more juice than minus 120. If it's more than minus 120, don't do it. It's a scam. You can't win long term.
I'm glad we're doing this every day because, Mr. Black, I feel like that GIF. What's that GIF where all the numbers and equations are floating by the head? I'm going to get this dialed in, just like everyone watching who may not know how to do this. So it's good to have an expert like you. Again, Mr. Black is top 5 in Colorado when it comes to making these wagers out here. The last 2 days have been rough, but I think that's good. Like you said, Mr. Black, it's kind of highlighting the fact that it's like you're not going to win them all. 60% of the time, you don't win every time. So it's good to kind of have this insight from you. I appreciate you just jumping on, and then we'll find out what happens on Monday. We'll watch the game on Sunday, and then on Monday we'll see how right you were with those predictions again.
Absolutely. And just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And don't ever bet more than you can afford. And again, 49ers plus 3.5. We're going Bengals plus 7.5. And then we're going to tease the Chiefs, which will take it down to minus 1.5 Chiefs and take the Niners up to 9.5.
All right. You can get that bonus deposit up to $1,000 at I'mFromDenver.com. We do this every week at 4 p.m. so you guys can have those picks, tips, and tricks before you make your wagers on DraftKings. And then shout out to our sponsors, YOLO Rum. You only live once. You can go get a bottle delivered through Drizzly by going to YOLORum.com, or get a bottle if you're anywhere nationally. You can get a bottle shipped to you guys as well. So until Monday, I'm going to jump online again and follow up. I got to rewatch this video, though, so I could do those numbers. But until next time, thank you, Mr. Black.
Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, take the under in the Chiefs Bengals. I forgot to say that one. That's the other one.